It is 3 a.m. and you are staring at the ceiling, replaying that one conversation from earlier today. You are dissecting the moment someone tried to small talk you into a corner, or worse, the moment someone tried to bait you into an argument. You can feel your heart rate climb as you think of all the things you should have said. All the sharp, intellectual comebacks that would have put them in their place. But I want you to stop right there, take a breath. If you felt like a failure because you stayed quiet, or if you felt awkward because you didn't have a snappy retort ready to go, I am here to tell you that you weren't failing. You were inadvertently activating a high-resolution defense system. You aren't socially broken. You are running a high-fidelity operating system in a world that is still stuck on low-resolution dial-up. I am Silas, and today we are looking at the hardware behind why your silence isn't a weakness, but your greatest survival asset. Most people in this world are reactive machines. They operate on a simple input-output loop. If someone pushes a button, they get a response, but the rare mind operates differently. We use what I call the mirror void. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you why the person who speaks the least is usually the one with the most power, and how you can use your natural tendency to overthink as a tactical buffer that turns you into a psychological black hole. Let's look at the hardware first. When someone attacks you or tries to manipulate you, they are attempting to initiate an amygdala hijack. Your amygdala is the radar of your brain. It is the ancient, primitive part of your hardware designed to detect threats. When a bully or a toxic coworker needles you, they are trying to bypass your prefrontal cortex, the strategist, and go straight for the radar. They want to see you flinch. They want to see you get angry, cry, or start explaining yourself. Why? Because that response is data. It tells them exactly where your boundaries are and how easy it is to breach them. But when you remain silent and expressionless, you act as a digital firewall. You are denying them the handshake protocol their brain needs to establish a connection. You are effectively telling their nervous system that their signal is not being received. This is where we begin to see the first major advantage of the rare mind: dopamine starvation. Every time you defend yourself, every time you try to prove your worth to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you, you are feeding them. You are the source of their high, but when you give them nothing, no anger, no tears, not even a sarcastic remark, they begin to experience a system glitch. Without that reactive data, their brain enters a state of confusion. You will notice that if you stay silent long enough, the person attacking you will actually get louder and more desperate. They will start throwing out wilder accusations or making more absurd claims. They aren't doing this because they are winning. They are doing it because they are panicking. They are trying to find the button that works, and when they can't find it, they end up exposing their own insecurities and their own lack of emotional control. By doing nothing, you have forced them to reveal their entire hand. This leads us into the concept of information asymmetry. In any social interaction, the person who is talking is the one who is losing data. Think of it like a game of poker where one player is constantly announcing their cards, while the other player sits in total silence. Most people feel a desperate need to fill the silence because they find it physically painful. This is a sign of a low-fidelity processing system. They use noise to mask their own internal static, but as a member of the wolf pack of solitude, you are a signal detector. While the loud person is busy performing, you are in data collection mode. You are mapping their vocal tonality, their microexpressions, and the logical fallacies in their arguments. You are seeing the cracks in their armor that they don't even know exist. Silence is not an absence of thought. It is a high-speed simulation of every possible outcome. While they are playing checkers, you are running a 1,000-year war in your head and realizing that the only winning move is not to play. There is a biological reason why this silence is so terrifying to the average person. Human beings are evolutionarily wired to fear the unknown. This is the threat of the unseen. When you refuse to speak, people cannot categorize you. They cannot put you in a box. Because they have no data on what you are thinking, they begin to project their own deepest fears onto you. They assume you know something they don't. They assume you are judging them with a level of precision that they can't match. Your silence creates a power vacuum, and in nature, a vacuum must be filled. Usually, the other person will fill it with their own nervous energy. They will start apologizing for things you didn't even mention. They will start explaining themselves to you. Without saying a single word, you have shifted the internal locus of control from them to yourself. You have become the observer, and they have become the specimen under the microscope. This level of restraint is a sign of an advanced prefrontal cortex. Most people speak at the speed of their emotions. If they feel insulted, the words are out of their mouth before they've even processed why they feel that way. This is a legacy virus, a carryover from a more primitive version of humanity. But the rare mind thrives on the observer's gap. This is that 2-second delay between an external stimulus and your internal response. In that gap, you are choosing a strategy instead of just having a reaction. You are deciding whether this person even deserves the energy it takes to form a sentence. Often, the answer is no. Remaining calm during a verbal or psychological attack is a signal of extreme self-sufficiency. In the wild, the alpha of the pack isn't the one barking or snapping. It is the one who is so secure in their position that they don't need to exert unnecessary energy. Silence is a status symbol. It says that you are not dependent on the validation or the reaction of the person standing in front of you. You are your own sovereign state. We can look at this through the lens of mirror neurons. These are the cells in our brain that allow us to empathize and mimic the emotions of others. When someone comes at you with high-intensity aggression, their mirror neurons are looking for a match. They want you to get aggressive back so they can justify their own behavior. This is called reflective panic. When they find nothing but a void, when your face remains neutral and your voice remains steady, their own nervous system begins to spiral. It's like a sonar wave hitting a stealth bomber and never bouncing back. The lack of feedback causes a feedback loop in their own brain. They are forced to confront their own reflection in the mirror you have provided. This is the clinical essence of the gray rock method. You become as uninteresting and non-responsive as a dull pebble. You starve the narcissist, the bully, and the manipulator of the one thing they need to survive: your attention. So, how do you implement this when you're actually in the line of fire? I want to give you a cheat code. It is a tactical reorientation called the mirror void. The next time someone says something to disrespect you or try to bait you into a useless argument, I want you to do something that will feel counterintuitive at first. Do not look away. Do not look down at your shoes. And for the love of everything, do not defend yourself. Instead, look them directly at the bridge of their nose. Not their eyes. That can sometimes feel too intimate or too aggressive. Look at the bridge of their nose with a completely neutral, blank expression. In your head, I want you to slowly count to 5. Just 5 seconds of pure, unadulterated silence. You will feel the tension in the air become almost physical. You will see them start to fidget. They will likely start talking again just to break the pressure you've created. They might try to laugh it off or ask you what's wrong. Stay in the void. Let them trip over their own noise. You aren't fighting them. You are simply letting them realize how small they are in the face of your stillness. You are the eye of the storm, and they are just the debris being blown around by their own lack of control. You have to understand that society has lied to you. They told you that being quick on your feet meant having a loud mouth. They told you that being socially skilled meant being able to charm everyone in the room. But in a world of static noise, the person who can maintain silence is the only one who can actually hear the truth. You aren't too quiet, they're just too loud, you aren't awkward. You are just processing at a higher resolution than the room can handle. Every time you choose silence over a cheap reaction, you are deleting a legacy virus of people-pleasing that was installed in you long ago. You are reclaiming your cognitive sovereignty. You are deciding that your words are a high-value currency, and you aren't going to spend them on someone who is spiritually bankrupt. This is the path of the boundary architect. It is the realization that you don't need to build a wall to protect yourself. You just need to become a mirror. When you are the mirror void, people can only see themselves when they look at you. If they are ugly, they see ugliness. If they are chaotic, they see chaos. But you remain untouched. You are the laboratory of the self, and your home is your sanctuary. Stop asking for permission to be silent. Stop explaining why you don't want to go to the party or why you aren't engaging in the office gossip. Silence is your boundary. It is the ultimate act of digital autonomy in an age where everyone is trying to hack your attention. Put the hoodie on, lean into the solitude. The wolf pack doesn't need to howl to know they are powerful. They just need to observe. If you've spent your life feeling like you were too much for the room, or if you've been told you're impossible to read, take that as the highest compliment. It means your hardware is working exactly as it should. It means you are a sentinel intelligence, designed to see the traps before they are sprung. You are a cycle breaker, refusing to pass on the reactive trauma of the generations that came before you. You are kintsugi, forged in fire, with the cracks in your past filled with the gold of your current wisdom. We prioritize depth over noise here. We value the quiet observation over the loud performance. If you are ready to stop being a reactive machine and start being the strategist of your own life, then you are in the right place. We are the ones who find the crowds painful not because we are weak, but because our hearing is too good. We see the static for what it is, and we choose the void. If this data resonates with your internal OS, drop a in the comments. It lets me know who is out there protecting their peace and who is ready to master the art of the mirror void. We are building a community of people who don't just survive their quirks, but optimize them. For those of you who want the deep dive insights with absolutely zero fluff, the newsletter is where we take these concepts even further into the dark psychology of defense and the neurobiology of autonomy. You aren't broken, you aren't weird, you are just rare. Stay observant, stay rare, Sila's out.